We sat down with Donald Trump last night immediately after the debate and asked him how it looked from his end.
Well, it was interesting. I mean, they were shooting. Well, it was interesting. I mean, they were shooting at me because I'm leading by a lot, but I found it to be an amazing evening. I thought it was fascinating, actually. I actually liked it. As you know, they say I won many of the debates. I thought this might have been my best performance. The interesting thing is I was being hit from all sides. And I'm doing here, I'm there, but I think it was probably my best performance. Who knows?
It seems, though, that in some of the things in your campaign, you've moderated a little. You seem to recognize the fact that people might be turned off by constant fighting.
Oh, I
in the
do.
campaign.
I'd like to be. You know, hey, look, I went to an Ivy League school. I know how to behave. I can be so politically correct, you would be just bored to tears, John. But I fully understand that. But at the same time, when somebody comes at you with lies, I mean, a lot of lies out there. When you look at what Cruz did in Iowa with the voter, I don't know if you saw it, the voter violation, where they made up a fraudulent form, looked like it came to a government, demanding that people go out and vote for Cruz. When you look at stuff, or what he did to Ben Carson, I mean, they have to be called out. These are dishonest people.
You mentioned that the World Trade Center came down during George W. Bush's presidency.
Right.
Are you blaming him for
I'm
that?
not blaming him, although the CIA and other groups, but the CIA said there was a lot of information that something like that was going to happen. I'm not blaming anybody. It's a tragedy, a horrible tragedy, worse than our country's history, worse than Pearl Harbor, because you're talking about civilians, not the military, right? Thousands of people killed, a horror show. Now, could he have done something about it? His CIA knew about things happening. I mean, you could have said, but when Jeb gets up and says, we were safe under his brother, we weren't safe. First of all, his brother got us into the war in Iraq, which is one of the worst catastrophes ever. There were no weapons of mass destruction. The World Trade Center came down during his reign, so you can't say that we were safe under his reign when the World Trade Center comes down and the CIA said something like that was going to happen.
George W. Bush is a pretty popular guy in South Carolina, and when you say that he lied, as you did, and you said that weapons weren't there, I mean, the intelligence...
There were no weapons of mass destruction.
But this is basically the Democratic Party line.
I don't care. Look. I'm a businessman. I built a great company. I'm self-funding my campaign. All of the people in the audience, most of them were special interests. They were, I mean, it was all stacked for these people, which is fine. I mean, it's fine, but it's really not appropriate. But the people in the audience were lobbyists and special interest people. I don't have any of those people because I'm putting up my own money. I tell the truth, okay? There were no weapons of mass destruction. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying he went in there, he thought there were weapons of mass destruction, maybe, or maybe he didn't, okay? But he thought there were weapons, and there weren't. So I'm telling the truth.
But you said he lied. That's a little more
well,
than just he thought.
If he knew that there weren't weapons of mass destruction, and if he used that as an excuse to go in and try and make up for some sins for previous years, then it would be a lie. But I don't think, maybe that's true, and maybe it isn't true.
Impeached. You wouldn't own that anymore. You had once said in 2008 you thought he should be impeached.
Let me tell you something. The war in Iraq has been a disaster. It started the chain of events that leads now to the migration, maybe the destruction of Europe. He started the war in Iraq. Am I supposed to be a big fan? Now, I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative, so many lies are made. But the truth is that we started the war in Iraq. We spent $2 trillion on that war. We lost thousands of lives. We have wounded warriors who I love all over the place. It shouldn't have started. We would have been so much better off if Bush and the rest of them went to the beach and didn't do anything. If you had Saddam Hussein, who's a bad guy and all of that, but he made a living off killing terrorists. Now, if you want to become a terrorist, you go to Iraq. That's like the Harvard of terrorism, okay? So, look, it was not a great job. Now, people can say he's popular. I don't know why he's popular. But we also had an economic collapse at the end of his term. That economic collapse gave us Barack Obama. Without that collapse, we wouldn't have had Barack Obama.
Let me ask you about politics now. You had a tough ad hitting Senator Cruz saying he couldn't be trusted. You said you pulled it down, but I just watched it on TV.
No, I pulled it down because I wanted to be nice. I wanted to be a very nice person. And then I saw him do a negative ad on me. So I said, put it back up. It's a very honorable ad. It's a very honest ad. It's just tough. He's a nasty guy. People don't like him. Think of it. You're a United States Senator. You have a lot of friends that are in the Senate, or in his case, he doesn't have any friends. You don't have one endorsement from one U.S. senator. These are the people that work with him. How can that be possible?
You also have questioned his Christianity. Is that a Christian thing to do, to question?
No, I say this. You can't lie and then hold up the Bible, okay? He consistently lies. What he did to Ben Carson was a disgrace. What he did with the voter violation form, which is a fraud, is a disgrace. And you can't do that. You can't hold up all of these values and hold up the Bible and then lie.
Speaking of holding up the Bible, you promised not to use profanity anymore. Did I
Well,
hear that?
I've always done it just as a way of emphasis and had fun doing it. But running in politics, we can't do it. I mean, I get standing ovations. The other night, I got standing ovations from minor stuff. And a lot of times I don't use the word, John. You had it bleeped out. I didn't use the word. I explained that tonight, I hope.
You used a few other words.
But not big deal. Jeb Bush goes on, and he said he's going to rip down his pants and moon everybody on the street. Moon everybody. Nobody writes about it. It's in a couple of papers, but nobody writes about it. That's far worse. He says he's going to rip down his pants and moon everybody? This is a presidential candidate?
Seems like a race to the bottom to me.
No, it's terrible. I think it's terrible, but I didn't say it. He did.
I mean, you won New Hampshire. And
did.
now, give me your sense of the campaign right now.
I think we're doing great. I just don't want to have people, do robocalls. Like, as an example, robocalls. This is a crazy business. I mean, I deal with Manhattan real estate. These people are babies compared to the politicians. Robocalls put out, I'm leading by a lot, as you know, and robocalls put out by, we think, Cruz, because it was one of his top people, saying that Donald Trump is not going to be running in South Carolina. Vote for Ted Cruz. That's a fraud. So what I have is, because I have a little bit of a, microphone out there, what I have is I'm able to explain to people that it's a lie. A lot of people couldn't do it. Ben Carson wasn't able to do that. They hit him very quickly. They took away a lot of votes from Ben Carson.
Your tax returns, when are we going to see them?
I'd say over the next 3-4 months, we're working on them very hard, and they'll be very good.
That sounds like they'll come out after potentially the nomination is
No, I don't know.
sewn
I'll do
up.
them as soon. Look, I'm the first one to put my financial statement out. I put out a financial statement with no extensions, with no anything. But I have one of the world's most complicated tax returns. It's a massive return, and but I will get it done as soon as I can. Remember this. When I did my financials, which are frankly much more important, when I did my financials, everybody thought it would take a year to put them out. I put them out in 30 days, and everybody was very impressed with them.
Finally, the veterans' money that you raised, what's the status of that?
Well, we've given away a lot of it. Much of it is given away. Most of it's in the
$6 million,
mail.
How much is
Well,
given away?
I don't know. I can tell you, I don't know. A lot of it's just going from the people that made it directly to the veterans groups. But much of it is going, I'd say millions have been given out already. I'm very proud of it.
All right, Donald Trump,
Thank you
so
very
much.
Thank you.